A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan next week.
Oh no, he's stuck in his General Patton mode again.
May God have mercy upon my enemies because I won't.
There's only one thing we can do. Get into the Hussar as fast as possible.
If everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.
I have always been interested in military history, and history in general, but military history in particular. I have learned more about military history. Actually, I should rephrase that and say I've learned how little I know about military history from my customers. They come in and some of these people are so well versed in obscure details and just the in-depth study of a particular battle or a person's life. I opened the shop in 1981 and had always wanted to have a hobby shop that was a little different. So when I expanded on the theme of painting military miniatures, I basically carried military history books and soldiers. I started on a shoestring budget with extra money left over from a job. I was working for a railroad, and so any money I had left over I would put $200-300 a month into inventory, and we just kind of grew and grew and grew. And 34 and a half years later, here we are. The most popular eras all the way across the board are Napoleonic because they're so colorful for the painter to paint, American Civil War because there's such a strong interest in that, and of course World War II. But the figure manufacturers produce figures from ancient times to modern day and everything in between. So I have customers that are very, very interested in modern day uniforms and weapons and that type of thing. And again, the shop carries books on all sorts of things such as military vehicles, aircraft, armor, naval uniform histories, that type of thing. So we could try to cover everything. The sculptors of the masters and then the companies produce these kits are now, especially today, employing excellent sculptors. So you get really neat, lifelike figurine kits. I'm drawn to some of these just because of the pose that they've put them in, or for example, may never have painted a Germanic barbarian from 800 AD, so I might just try one of those. As far as the painting goes, it's very similar to painting on a two-dimensional canvas, except in miniatures, the canvas is three-dimensional. So you use the same concepts of painting with highlights, shadows, smooth transitions to make it look as lifelike as possible. Some painters work every night for 15-20 minutes. Others paint all Sunday afternoon or on a particular day. But typically you have anywhere from 15 to 40 hours on a project from start to finish. That's assembling the basic kit, which comes in parts and pieces, gluing together, priming it, and then mounting it on a display base and finally being able to say, hey, I just finished this one. I personally collect a lot of what they refer to as militaria, just because if I'm painting a German World War II soldier, I like having the helmet to be able to look at. One thing kind of builds on the other. I started collecting British ceremonial uniforms for the store because they look good. They're white belts against red jackets and very colorful. Also picking up World War II items and that type of thing. A lot of our customers aren't necessarily painters, but they are collectors of the miniatures, and everybody's a little different. Again, there may be someone who has an ancestor in the Union Army during the Civil War, for example, and they may only have one or two Yankees on their bookshelf in their study. Others have complete rooms filled with hundreds of painted pieces, and they either paint them themselves or they have somebody paint them for them, or they buy the pre-painted collectible toy soldiers. I don't know if there will be a legacy for the Hussar, but if there is, I would hope that I got young minds interested in the study of history. Also a venue for someone to be creative with the painting and that type of thing. It's been a wonderful almost 35 years being in business. I've seen lots of great people come through the door, made a lot of very good friends.